So today's conversation is about something it's kind of taboo that we talk about, which is money, especially when it comes to running your business. It's like the secret that nobody want to talk about. So my guest today is Dr. Octavia Conner. And she has this amazing program called Say Yes to Profits. Funny story. Y'all always know I got a funny story when it comes to Side Hustle Saturday. We linked up on LinkedIn, and I thought I knew her from somewhere else or she was part of this program. And she went and scheduled some time, did a one-on-one consultation with me. And we just got to chatting, like, oh, so what do you do? Da 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 da. And she just kind of pulled me in with what she does in her program when it comes to entrepreneurship and your financial structure. That I was like, hey, would you be on my podcast?
Mhm.
Welcome to the podcast.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
So, can you share just a bit about what your Say Yes to Profits program is about?
Yes. So the firm, Say Yes to Profits, is a fractional CFO firm. We
Mhm.
typically work with the professional service firms. A lot of them are women CEOs who have built a business where they're earning substantial revenue. Maybe they're high six figures, seven figures, or eight figures. However, even though they're earning substantial revenue, they're still experiencing cash flow problems. They're still experiencing the inability to pay themselves consistently as a CEO. And so we come in and we implement our Say Yes to Profit system that allows them to turn their revenue into profit, that allows them to have consistent cash flow, and then they turn that profit into lasting wealth. And so that's what it's all about, really building the financial infrastructure that will
Mhm.
allow them to not only earn money, but again, have profitability that multiplies over and over again.
So, talk to me about how you got here. What led you to start your program? What's your money story?
I came from corporate America.
Hmm.
I started corporate America 20 something years ago. And I climbed the ladder from a data entry clerk to a bookkeeper, accounting manager, to a CFO of a multi-million dollar pharmaceutical company.
Hmm.
And then I decided to take a leap of faith and become an entrepreneur in the same space or doing the same thing, accounting and bookkeeping. And I just was like, okay, if I can help this multi-million dollar business get to the multi-million dollar mark, sustain the multi-million dollar mark, I know I can do it for myself. At least is what I thought. And so in 2011, I took a leap of faith. I went out full time as an entrepreneur. And needless to say, I fell flat on my face. Um, within like 14 months,
Uh-huh.
I was in a chapter of my life that I
Hmm.
titled Broke, Busted, and Disgusted. Um, yeah, and it was bad. I had a negative $152 in my bank account.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was coming from corporate America where I had the close to six-figure salary and the cushy corporate job and the corner office and the da 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 da, right? All the
Hmm.
the benefits to now having a custom home that I had built from the ground up and we're 1 month away from foreclosure, right?
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, we were hiding our truck in the garage. Like I literally could look out the window, okay, and see the repo man driving by, and he looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "You're not gonna get me today." Um, Two, the next chapter, which is called Breakthrough.
Hmm.
And in that chapter, I started over and I did a few things differently. And so, in doing the things differently, I didn't realize at the time that I was building this system. I just knew that I was broke, busted, and disgusted and didn't want to stay there. And so, when I started over in Breakthrough, I went back to corporate America part time and I rebuilt my business different. And I was
Hmm.
able to come back out 14 months later as a multi six figure business owner. That was back in 2016. But the unique thing about it is that top line, we were multi six figures. Bottom line, we had a six figure bank balance that we were maintaining consistently. And I was like, this is different. Right? I never went into foreclosure. We were able to save the house. We're still in it today. The truck never got repoed.
Mhm.
Like, and the bank balance again ended up being like six figures. And I said, this is different. And now I want to teach others how to do it. And so I rebranded the company to Say Yes to Profits, because the whole goal is to show you that no matter how much you're earning, you can still be broke, or you can earn whatever it is and have a profitable bank account, a profitable business. And so the goal is to help all of our clients say yes to profits. And so that's how we got here today.
See, I think that's the hardest thing because I think we're so busy, like, how am I going to get out of this? That you
Mhm.
just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to, like you said, broke, busted, and disgusted.
Right,
And
right,
it's like, how does one leap from, oh my God, like you said, the repo man coming after my car, they about to foreclose on my home, and are my lights going to be on tomorrow? Cables off. You
right.
know, how do you navigate to get from there to where you've got profits, you got this business, you don't want to go back to work, but how does one do that?
So for me, I had to start with a complete mindset shift. Originally when I left corporate America, I was like, I'm not going back. But I always, in the back of my head, knew that because of the years of experience that I had already acquired as a accountant, as a CFO in the corporate space, I always knew I could go back. Even when I left the company, they were like, if you ever need to come back, like you can come back here. So I knew I could go back. So I did something I didn't want to do in order to take my family from a place of survival mode to stabilizing to scaling. I went back to corporate America. That was the first thing I did. The next thing I did was I started to rebuild my mindset. When I first jumped out, I didn't have a plan, I didn't have a process. I was like, this is for me. I'm going for it. I prayed, I
Mhm.
got answers, I jumped, literally. And so when I went back to start over, I first started to rebuild my mind and really look at my money identity, my money habits, my money thoughts, and align them with one of prosperity and profitability and abundance. And then I started to do the actions that allowed now for that abundance to start coming. And it wasn't easy. There were ups and downs. There were good days and bad days, but I was determined because I knew entrepreneurship was for me. I was determined to figure this thing out. And I did that. I figured it out. We came back out, or I came back out again. The business was truly profitable. And that's when I look back and I said, hey, what was this? And can I retrace these steps? And I tell my clients all the time, success leave clues. So go
Mhm.
back and reflect on the first quarter. If you had an event, reflect on that. If you had an amazing season, reflect on that. If you had a bad season, reflect on that, because you can pick up the clues and be able to move forward in a better way. And I did that for myself and realized this is a system. This is a process. This is more than just what I first started. I started my company just doing bookkeeping and taxes. This is more than that. This is strategy. And I was like, I want to do this for others. I want to help others achieve the same or better results.
I want to touch on something you said about mindset, because that is really, really key. I was listening to a webinar with Myron Golden, and he said it's easy for us to think about being broke,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not easy for us to think about being rich and
Yeah.
making money.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's true. We can always think about the struggle, but
Yeah.
we never, it's hard for us to think about, yeah, I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna make that money. We
Right.
we see other people do it and we talk about it, but it's easy for us to stay in the latter mindset instead of really thinking or living in an abundant life.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I used to do, and to this day I still do it. I would say to myself, how would the $1 million Octavia show up in this room? How would the million
Mm,
dollar Octavia show up on this sales call? How would the $1 million Octavia manage her business, her team? How would the $1 million Octavia, and this was before I'm dating myself a little bit, but a little bit before social media was just really, really booming. But how would the $1 million Octavia do X, X, and X? And I would try to be the $1 million Octavia, even though I was broke, busted, and disgusted. How would she think? She wouldn't think because the bank account is low that it's doom and gloom. She would maybe think, okay, the bank account is not the balance I needed and wanted to be, but what can I do to get out there and make some more money? What streams of revenue can I implement? Who can I call? What can I post? Like what would the $1 million Octavia do in this situation? And whatever came to mind that was legally and ethically and aligned with God, I would do it. And things just started to happen. Like I would go to events again, just cried on my porch, but the event is in an hour. Let me get myself together and go to the event and sign a client because the $1 million Octavia would get up and stop crying and go do what she needed to do. But the broke Octavia would sit there and be like, the whole world is against her. So which one am I going to be?
Right, right.
So,
The whole mindset shift. You
yeah.
know, can you talk to me about when you have your clients,
hmm
what usually is happening in a business when someone realizes that they need your support? Even if the revenue is already coming in and they're like, I need her help. What's happening?
So oftentimes the CEO, they're not able to pay themselves consistently. That's like one pain point. Like their pay is based on sometimes what's left over. Oftentimes there's not enough left over. And so they're living off of their credit cards and or loans. Heck, the business may even be operating based on credit cards and loans. So that's one thing. Another thing is that they're bringing in the money, but they feel like it's going through their fingers, like they have a hole in their business pockets, as I would like to say. And so they don't have that financial visibility. Like if I ask them, well, how much revenue did you make last year? They maybe could say that number, but if I ask how much profit did you make last year, they're like, I don't know. And if I ask if how much profit is built into your services for your the services that you offer, they don't know, right? So they don't have that financial visibility into what is happening with their money every step of the way. So they're often feeling like they're operating with blinders on, and because of that they may be bringing in the money because most people know how to go out there and get the revenue, or they at least know what they need to do to bring in the revenue in most cases, but it's going out just as fast as it's coming in. So those would be some of the things that make them think, I need to talk to Dr. O because she's going to help me have this financial clarity, this financial control, this financial visibility and the financial confidence to not just make money, but keep the money at the same time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah.
When it comes to growth, I mean, that's the good thing. We look at the growth and we look like, oh, my business is booming. And, like you said, when it comes to the finances, that's just the mark that we miss.
hmm
Why
hmm
do you think that growth sometimes starts to feel a little heavy instead of easier when it comes to business owners or having a business?
Mm. Well, one, I think because the money is not right.
Mm,
Like most people say, like I can't tell you the number of people that will cross the $1 million mark and feel like they made it, only to receive a high five, six-figure tax bill because you really didn't make it, even though you crossed the $1 million mark. That's your top line. But the success of your business is based on profitability. Like profit is how you keep scoring business. So yeah, you earned 1 million, but then you have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in your bank account. Did you really make it like you thought you did? You know? So I think people have to look at it like that. Like what is success? What is success? Like what is financial freedom from a business? If you can't receive a salary consistently as the owner, are you really operating in a place of financial freedom?
mm,
Or are you just bringing money in? If you are
mm-hmm,
afraid of the IRS because you had a $50,000, $60,000 tax bill last year, but then you have the Amazons and the Netflix that are earning billions and paying zero in taxes, but you can't do the same. But technically you can, but you're not working with the right person to help you get there. Are you really experiencing financial freedom?
mm.
So I don't know if
That's
I answered your
good.
question, but
You did, because do you think it starts with financial literacy?
I absolutely do. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
so too. I think that's where we need to, as business owners, really start. Like if you,
Mhm.
I always, when I walk, I'm a Shark Tank. Shark Tank junkie. I always watch, or the elevator pitch. And then I see, entrepreneurs on there and they ask them about, they want to know about the money before they invest.
Hmm.
And some
Hmm.
of them struggle. And it's important that you know your numbers.
It's important. Yeah.
And when you don't know your numbers, like you said, it's like, how can you be profitable? When I was reading your who you work with 7 and 8 figure clients. And I
Hmm.
was like, well, I know they got it going on if they're making 7 and 8 figures. It was hard for me to put my arms around that they have financial struggles.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's what a lot of people think. Like, because there's a 7 or 8 figure entrepreneur that they don't have financial struggles. But again, you know how to earn the money oftentimes, especially if you've crossed the 7 or 8 figure mark. Even entrepreneurs that are like some of our clients are like at $500,000 or higher, right? So
Mhm.
they're not this quite the 7 figures, but they're $500,000, $500,000 business is pretty good. However, again, that's top line success. So you know how to bring it in, but if you're bringing it in and it's leaking out just as fast, if you're bringing it in, but yet you're still in an unhealthy way relying on OPM, other people's money, because yes, you're bringing in 7 figures, but you have 5 figures in debt. And so the money is coming in, but because your debt is so high, because the internet experts talk about OPM, but they don't tell you the downside to it, and so a lot of these businesses will go and get other people's money because some of them make it easy to get, but then it's hard to pay it back. So yes, you're a 7 figure business owner, but you have 5 figures in debt every month that you have to pay back. That's a challenge. So they still have money problems because a lot of them have crossed the 7 figure mark, or made their second 7 figures. However, the financial house is not in order. Or they have every time they get a new client or a new project, I see this a lot, they hire new team members or buy new software. And so they have softwares that they're not even really using. They have softwares, 4, 5, 6, 7 different softwares that all do the same thing in some way. They have team members because the company has gotten so large, they have team members that they're not really managing, so they're riding the clock. The whole time the owner is badly paying themselves, or they're paying themselves low to keep the team, right? So they have 7 figures coming in, but all of these financial obligations increase. And so I often say it like this: they have more money and more problems instead of more money and more profit.
What are some of the things, like the common things that you see business owners do when they're in this situation?
Well, first, they're not keeping up with their finances. So, like, some of them may have a bookkeeper, but the bookkeeper is just entering information in an accounting system, but they're not helping them to forecast and project the future, like do cash flow forecasting. So they either don't have an accounting system, or they do have an accounting system and a bookkeeper that's really not helping them project the future. They're often not operating with a plan. And so they're a lot of 7 and 8 figure businesses, honestly, they're doing a lot for a lot. So they may have 10, 20 services, 10, 20 products to bring in those 7 figures, but oftentimes you just need to focus on what I call your priority one. That one service or product, that one problem that you solve, and that one person you're gonna work with. And you go to the market with that and you drill down on that and you call those people to you and you show them how you can solve their problems instead of having all of this. So again, they're not clear on their plan. They often don't have one. Their accounting system is not in order, or they have a bookkeeper and she's not giving them their finances. And then they often have a lot of debt, and they're getting more debt to cover the debt they already have. So it's debt on top of that. So the money is going in that way. So those would be some of the things.
Yeah, I see that a lot. I see, of course, when I'm scrolling on my reel about, oh, get these business loans for to consolidate your bills for 35,000, or back in the day it was Navy credit card. I got a Navy credit card and I got 100,000. And it's like, oh, it's enticing because it's that
Mhm.
carrot. Do you
Mhm.
think it's good for businesses to get a business loan?
Yeah, it's
Or
nothing
should
wrong
they
with it.
bootstrap? Or, where do you draw the line?
It's nothing wrong with, well, one, I recommend a business line of credit. Um, and a business loan is okay, right? It's nothing wrong with it unless you're putting that on top of money problems that you already have. So it's like there's a wound there. You didn't use any like Neosporin, any cream to heal it. You just put a Band-Aid on top of it. So as soon as the Band-Aid get wet, it's gonna come right back off and the wound is still there. It didn't never heal. I know I'm a little animated, but that's when OPM can have a dark side to it. But there is nothing wrong with using other people's money, but you have to use it responsibly. So if you already have one loan and you can barely pay that one, why would you get another one? You
To
know?
pay for the one that I can't
You
pay
pay for the
for.
one you can't pay for. Now you got two, and you can't pay for either one of those. And you get another one, and it just, listen, as an accountant, I've seen million-dollar businesses with seven, eight loans,
Wow.
and I'm like, when was there a point where you had to tell yourself this is enough?
Hmm.
Right? So I think if you're gonna get a loan or a line of credit, there's no issue with that. But get it to when you're at a place where you can pay it off, right? And you pay it off in full, like you pay your monthly payments or however in full, and use it responsibly and don't tack on something on top of a problem because it's just gonna cause an even deeper problem in the future.
Hmm. So in your program, I come to you. I say, Dr. O, I need some help. Take me through, how would we work together? What's the first thing that you're going to do?
So from the onset, we do a 13-point assessment. This assessment allows us to see where you are. So we have 5 pillars that we implement in our clients' businesses. These pillars came from, again, that Broke Busted Disgusted Breakthrough chapter in 2016 that I just rinsed and repeated over and over again and improved along the way, right? And so that first pillar is all about your position. So are you in survival mode? Are you in stabilizing mode or are you scaling? And so when we complete that 13-point assessment, it identifies where you are no matter how much revenue you bring it in. It identifies where you are. The reason why this is important is because if you're in survival mode, right, this will let us know when we create your plan, which is the next pillar, what the things that we need to focus on in that plan so that you can go from surviving to stabilizing. If you're in stabilizing mode and you're ready to scale, then that lets us know in the plan pillar what we need to focus on so you can scale. And then the same thing with scale. If you're at the scaling point, that means 9 times out of 10, you're profitable for the most part. And now you want to build wealth. So a part of your plan may be a building, right? So we have some clients that have come to us and they're wanting to buy a building within the next 2, 3 years. So now let's set them up in the way to do that. So we take you through that 13-point assessment. That allows us to create the plan, which is the next pillar. And so the plan focuses on that priority 3 focus, priority 1 focus that I mentioned with the 3 things. It's a little bit more into it than that, but that's a start. Next, we start to implement fractional CFO services. So, what this looks like is that for the next 12 months, you have your money moves. These are the things we've identified that you must do every quarter, every month, every week, heck, sometimes even every day in your business so that you not only earn revenue, but you generate a profit. And then we meet on a monthly basis to go over your finances. We handle your bookkeeping. If you don't have anyone, we'll handle that for you. You meet with your CFO every month, and those are high level executive conversations. So we're talking about, okay, this is what you did. This wasn't aligned with the plan. It wasn't aligned with the plan, whatever it was. Here are the good things about it. Here are the bad things about it. Now here's what we do going forward. And then we create a forecast where you're able to see at least 13 weeks in advance how your money is going to be positioned and it helps you make better decisions. And we do that over and over again and we'll adjust your plan and your metrics as you grow and we walk you through that process. So it's a very high touch, hands-on approach where we want you. I tell people when you come into my space, if you do what we tell you, we're going to help you smile when you log into your bank account.
Now, let's say I'm not a 7 and 8 figure business yet, but
Mhm.
I'm striving to get there. What kind of things can I put in place to help me get to that 7 to 8 figure profitability? And I can say yes to my own profits.
Yes. So the first thing I would say is get clear on what you're gonna offer to the marketplace, what you're gonna be known for in the marketplace, and then ensure that it's priced for profit. Oftentimes, we will provide a service or product, and then we'll look at our competitors or someone in a similar industry, and we'll price our services and products kind of based on what we see and not taking into account our costs and our daily operations. So that would be the first thing. Get clear on your product and then price it correctly. And then start to not only bring clients in based on whatever you're offering, but then you can build supportive things around it. So, for example, we have a client literally before our podcast interview. She's a life coach. And so she's built an amazing brand. And so my thing to her was, okay, we have our product, we have our people. Now I need for you to write a book because the book is going to support your service. Like using myself, for example, I just did a big event and I spoke twice and that was amazing. But the most amazing thing is that every book that we took to the event, we sold out of all of them except four. So literally just from book sales alone, we made a couple of $1,000s, right? From me speaking at this event from book sales. So I told my client, I said, now we have that. So now we're about to do a podcast. We're about to do a book. So you're about to build this entire ecosystem around your main product
Mm-hmm.
and then make money multiple different ways. And you don't have 20 things that you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
100%. We are so aligned when it comes to that because that's my whole platform is building ecosystems.
mhm,
And when I strategize with my clients, okay, you got this service. Are you speaking? Like you
right.
said, do you have a book? Are
hmm
you on a podcast?
Yep.
Those are branches to your foundation, which is the business. And that's just so important. Or they'll build a website. I hear this all the time because I build websites. And they'll be like, well, I'm not getting no clients. Well, what is you doing?
What are you doing? What
What
traffic
are
are
you
you
doing?
driving?
Are you to bring in the clients?
hmm
And that's so key when you have a business. It just, you just don't turn on the porch light and they'll come. You've got to get them to come to the porch. Are you handing
Yeah.
out candy?
Yeah.
What is it that you're driving traffic to and bringing in those customers to build the business and then build it even further. Even though it's successful, let's take it up a notch.
Exactly. Exactly. And then
I
once you
like
take it
that.
up a notch, now
Hmm.
now turn that profit into wealth. And what are you doing to turn the profit into wealth?
Hmm. I think that's kind of hard for us to see. Do you think that?
If you asked me that several years ago, I probably would have said yes without a shadow of a doubt. But
Hmm.
now I feel like we are in a informational time where you can see it a lot, but do you believe that you can do it? Maybe
Mm.
would be the different thing, right? The different question to ask. Like, because I feel like it's out there now. As an accountant, I will say a lot that is out there in the marketplace may not always be true because if you look on Instagram, everybody's doing amazing
Yeah.
with the Rolls Royce and the mansions and the this
Right.
and the that, but they really honestly struggling behind the scenes. And as an
Right.
accountant, I've seen it. Um, but can we see it? We can. But can we believe that, oh, I can do that? I think that's where that money mindset comes into place because you can see someone and celebrate them, but then go back home as I did and cry yourself to sleep at night because it's not you. And not from a place of jealousy or coveting, but just more from a place of, I don't want to be in this struggling state. But are you
Mhm.
believing that you can get out of it or are you just wallowing in it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I had somebody say to me, they were doing pretty good. I was like, oh, you're so talented. You're doing really well. And they came from a place where I wouldn't say they were street or hood, but they just had, that's where they came from. And the
Mm-hmm.
one thing that they said was they were scared of success.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just like, that blew my mind
Mm-hmm.
that they did not want to go further because they were scared of what success would look like for them on the other side. Is it going to change me? Am I going to lose my friends? Can I be
Mm-hmm.
the same person? And I
Mm-hmm.
just thought that was just like, that was crazy to me.
But it's common though. There was a poem, I can't remember who wrote it, but there was a poem where it talked about being scared of success, and not even realizing that that's what you're afraid of. And oftentimes that comes from our childhood or something that may have happened in our childhood, that we have to understand and overcome in order to defeat that mindset. So, yeah,
Mhm.
if I could think of the young lady that wrote the entire poem about being afraid of success, it's common. I think
Yeah.
it's very common. That's why I feel like, and I tell my clients all the time in our CFO program, like, your mindset is something you work on all the time. Even when
Mhm.
you achieve the high six, seven, or eight figures, you're still working on your mindset. Like, it's a never ending learning process because you are a different level, or you are a different person at seven figures than you were at six figures. You're a different person at eight figures than you were at seven figures because now you have different problems and higher problems, and so you got to think different, you got to act different, you got to show up different. So you evolved as your business evolved. Like, I think you have to even evolve first before your
Mhm.
money can even evolve. You have to change first.
Mhm. So
So
I can't be the same five-figure girl.
mm-mm. The thoughts and things you did at five figures, they'll keep you stuck at six or seven figures. They're not going to work.
Mm.
They're not going to work. Like
Mm.
the $1 million Octavia, when Octavia was broke, those thoughts helped for that season and that time. But where the company is now, I can look at that, but I have to think differently because we're going to a different place. We're in a different place.
Yeah. Do you think you would ever go back in the workplace?
I truly feel like I'm unemployable.
Really?
I
That's
think I
interesting. Why do you
Listen,
say that?
I think I would start on Monday and quit on Tuesday. I if that was the calling on my life at that time, then I wouldn't have no choice, right? But I don't know, the way I think now, the way I operate, and my thing for leaving the workplace, I have four babies,
Yeah.
right? And me asking to go to my kids' award ceremony or on a field trip with them or anything, and you having the autonomy to tell me no, oh, I'm gonna quit. I'm not gonna be there. I'm going, and I'm probably not coming back. So, yeah. It would have to be a corporate job that allows me to work and have the freedom that I need and
Yeah.
desire for me to be comfortable with accepting it long term. Like, you cannot tell me I have to come in 9 to 5 and I
Right.
gotta be there from 9 to 5. Yeah,
I
I'm gonna disappear.
I think you say I'm gonna be MIA.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah,
And
yeah,
I won't be
exactly.
back.
And I won't be back. Yeah, so
For me, it would have to be like the dream job. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, oh, this is
But
an
what is the
opportunity, a
dream
once in a
job?
lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But what is the dream job? Can't you build your own dream job?
Well, you make a good point. You make a
I
good
like that
point.
saying where they say the CEO is not going to pay you enough to live next to them.
Mm,
So why not just build your own dream? Is it going to be easy? No. Are you going to maybe have to, do things for extra money? Maybe like I went back to corporate America part-time,
yeah,
right? Are you going to have to maybe do something like that? Maybe.
yeah.
But if it's for you and you know it's for you and all things align, build your own dream.
Yeah.
But
No,
it's nothing wrong with the corporate job. Let me say that. There's nothing wrong with
a
the nine to
hundred
five.
percent, a hundred
Nothing wrong.
percent, because not everybody's cut out for entrepreneurship.
Exactly, because it's not easy.
Oh my God. What do you
It's
think you learned about yourself when you started your own business?
that I'm stronger than I thought I was.
Really?
Yeah. Because even after that broke, busted, disgusted breakthrough chapters, we've had ups and downs. It's just it's business, right?
Yeah.
Um, and through the downs, I'll have my moment or a no, like a no you wanted. Like you wanted this opportunity or this client and they said no. Those things can make or break you.
Mm.
And I had to learn to accept things like that. Like I am the youngest of my siblings, so I'm the baby. So naturally I got my way growing up. And so coming into the world of entrepreneurship and somebody tell me no, like told me no is word. So I had to learn how to take that no and keep going, how to realize that sometimes that no is God protecting you from something, and
Yeah.
how
Because you
to
want
go
what you
through
want.
right and how to go through a season of struggle and be like, okay, I'm gonna be down this day. I'm gonna do whatever, but tomorrow I'm gonna go get it. So I realized I was stronger than I thought I was, and that I can weather this storm. I can
Hmm.
weather it.
For me, I love my freedom.
Gotcha.
I love my freedom, and I gotta make it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gotta work.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell somebody I'm the Harriet Tubman of entrepreneurship because
Yeah.
I go after my freedom.
Mm.
It's gotta work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just different on this side. It
Yeah.
really is. It's super different. And then once you get a taste of it and you figure it out as an entrepreneur, you're like, ooh, this
Mm-hmm.
ain't the land of milk and honey, but I might get a taste of it when I do
Mm-hmm.
cross that
I might,
threshold.
right. I might be next door and some leaking over here or
Right.
something.
Hey, 100%. It's just different. And like I said, it's not for everybody. It's
Yeah.
not. Some people need structure, and I am not knocking my career folk. I'm with
Right.
y'all
Right.
because I know it's not for everybody. But when you come over here, it's just different. It's just really different. But I got some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Okay. Revenue or profit?
Profit,
Growth or stability?
stability.
More clients or better margins?
Mm. I can't say both.
You gotta pick one.
Better margins.
Okay. One money habit, one money habit every entrepreneur needs.
Control, financial control.
Biggest financial mistake you see.
Not pricing their services correctly.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's talk about that real quick because I
Okay.
struggled with that. How do you price how do you do that?
So there is an entire, well, there are a couple of different formulas, right? The mistake that businesses make, again, as I mentioned earlier, they're looking at their competitors and
Mhm.
they're not factoring in their operations. So what does that mean? That means when you're pricing, you have to consider all of your costs. Like I did an entire podcast episode on this. So first you have to consider all of your costs. So your costs could be your labor, your direct costs. It could be your labor, your supplies and materials, right? So you factor in your costs first. What are all of the costs needed to operate or to serve this client or to provide this service? What are all of the costs? Then, once you tally up all of your costs, you want to add some type of overhead to it. So it could be 5%, 10%, or whatever to cover your overhead. But the missing piece is the profit margin.
Mhm.
So a lot of people will operate on, okay, my cost is 10,000. I am going to offer the service for 10,000. So then that's going to be money in, money out. Especially if you're able to keep your costs the same. But what if your costs increase? That's going to be money in, but now you have a net loss, right? But what you need to do is add a profit margin on top of that. So let's just say the cost comes up to $10,000, but you want 30% left over. So then you would take your costs times that 30% profit margin, add those both together, and that's your actual price because now it'll cover your costs and it'll give you a profit margin. And that profit margin is what ideally stays in the company. So,
Thank you for explaining that because I know I talked to some of my clients about the price where I've said, I think you're leaving some money on the table, but I could not articulate, I could articulate your price is your price, right? And
mhm.
then I've bumped in for me, for my clients, when I say, oh, it's this, and they're like, oh, that's too expensive. And now I'm to the point where I have to say, well, I can refer you to someone else,
Mhm.
but this is my price, and here's why.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think for some of us, I think we just want to get that client because of whatever the times, you don't have that
Yeah.
traffic, the
Yeah.
client's here now. But is it going to be worth your time, your effort to get lowballed,
Right.
but your price is your price?
Right. And then you come to the table with negative and bad energy, but you, the one that lowered your price in the middle of a sale, instead of understanding your price is your price, you understand the benefits that you bring to the table and you speak from that benefit standpoint and not just the dollar amount. Right. You
Mhm.
speak from the benefits. Like, I know this is the ideal outcome you will receive if you work with me. And then you sometimes have to be okay with someone saying no because it's like, okay, you didn't technically say no to me. You said no to yourself. So you keep your problem. I'll keep the solution. And when you're ready to invest, I'm here. So, hey, you know, just have to build that confidence. Like, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. Like,
Right.
why
It's
would you
just
work
like
with somebody
saying
else?
no to somebody. Because you know how you
Yeah.
say no to somebody, and it's so empowering. Like in your
Hmm.
personal, like somebody asks you to do something, no,
Hmm.
sorry. It's same thing. My price is my price.
Yeah, my price is my price. And if you don't want to invest, then you keep your problem. So there's
I'll
nothing I
refer
can.
them. I'll refer them out. Have
I
you
will
bumped?
too, depending on what so if like let's say your price is $10,000 and they're looking to pay $500. I'm not gonna refer you to anyone and you're gonna waste their time because
Right.
yeah, right? But if it's reasonable, I have colleagues that I will refer. Like
Hmm.
we'll have some people that want us to do taxes. And while I've done that for years, we're not the firm to just do your tax. Like we're not just going to prepare your taxes because we do so much more than that. So I'll refer them to people who their focus is just on tax preparation, like something like that. But if I know the industry average is $10,000, but you're looking to pay 1,000, I'm not going to refer you to anyone because then you're going to waste their time, and that's not fair.
Right. Right. No, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not. Now, if you could go back and talk to your younger self,
Hmm.
what would you say to her?
It's funny because I ask that question all the time, and I've never had anyone ask me that question. I would say, I would say, ooh, no matter what, you got this.
Hmm.
You got it. It's okay. And just remember in your, because I've been through things as an entrepreneur.
Mm.
I would say just remember, even when it's raining, it can't rain forever, and it's okay. You're gonna get past that. Stop
Right.
having days of wallowing. Like the next day I'll get up and I'll go for it, but I have had some days, even
Mm.
after broke busted disgusted breakthrough. But it's okay. That's you're being transformed and even maybe pruned during that time. But if you stick with it, You'll walk in an abundance of success. It's okay. It's okay.
Mm.
Breathe, girl. It's okay. So yeah.
Ooh, Doctor, oh, this was so good. I'm so
Yeah.
glad were you said yes.
Of
Yes to the side.
course.
I'm so glad you said yes to Side Hustle Saturday.
Yes. Of course. When you mentioned it, I was like, send me the link. Let's
You
go.
did, and she really did say that because sometimes people are like, I don't know, girl, they it's those vanity things. And when
Yeah,
you said yes, I was like, oh wow. But I just appreciate your wisdom because I learned some stuff today that I'm like, yeah, because you just don't know who's going through what, and that
exactly.
positive reinforcement. And again, who's going to see this? They're like, girl,
Exactly.
that was me too. I can
Mm-hmm.
do it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I do what I do with Side Hustle Saturday, because if we could touch one person.
Exactly. And honestly, I just feel like sometimes it takes just one person. Like it
Hmm.
could be, yeah, people pay attention to vanity metrics a lot. I'm just not that person. And honestly, it could be one person that changes your entire life.
Hmm.
That one person. So, and I've had that happen. We have a YouTube channel. We don't have a lot of views and all of that, but can I tell you that people will reach out to us and that video may have had 100 views, 30 sometimes, and
Hmm.
one person will reach out and become a client and be the highest paying client.
Wow.
Or they'll open an opportunity for me from a video and that video had 10 views
You're
and
right.
the opportunity catapulted into so many things.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm like, send the link. Let's go.
Yep. And I'm glad I did, y'all, because this has been truly, truly um amazing. I say amazing all the time, but it's been I know it's touched me. And I know that I'm gonna take these things and I'm gonna be like, I'm gone, girl. Yep. Bye.
Yeah.
And it's touched me in a way I don't think that has really helped me shift my mindset and like, all right, let's do this. I'm tired of boop, get that off my shoulder. Let's go. So thank you so much for being on Side Hustle Saturday. But I want you to tell the people if they want to say yes to profits, they want to work with you, they want to reach out to you,
Yeah.
how can they get in contact with you and collaborate with you?
So you can always go to sayyes2profits.com. Also, every month we do a virtual masterclass called the Say Yes to Profits Accelerator. The pillars that I spoke about during this episode, I actually go in depth with them and teach them on the accelerator. Of course, I give you a opportunity to work with us as well, send an invitation out to those that attend. But even before we get to that part, I really take all of the attendees through a process of gaining that clarity. I tell people all the time, I want people when they come into my space to leave transform in a better way, in some way, right? And so during the accelerator, we go over our entire system in detail and really provide the attendees with the ability to say yes to profits. And so you can register for that, of course, at sayyes2profits.com, or you can go to accelerator.sayyes2profits.com. And then you can find me on all social media platforms at Say Yes to Profits or Octavia Conner CFO, and that's Connor with an ER. Octavia Conner CFO on all platforms.
And follow her on LinkedIn because that's how we met.
Yes, yes, yes. And if you message me, I message you back.
She sure do. She will message you back. Well, Dr. O, thank you so much um, for talking to me today and talking to the Side Hustle Saturday community. It was truly, I know it's going to be a blessing. It was a blessing to me. So I know it's going to bless somebody else so they can say yes to their profits. And we're going to see some more 7 and 8 figure dollar businesses coming
Yes,
your way.
yes.
And everybody, y'all know what to do. You need to subscribe to Side Hustle Saturday. And I'm going to put all my details on where to link up with me and where to follow me at, but you know what to do. If you want to be a guest on the show, please feel free to reach out. Thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon.